Hey guys, so I got an ask this week about what music schools are looking for when they listen to pre-screening tapes. And although it is too late for you to resubmit pre-screenings if you sent ones that aren't actually what they're going to be helpful, and I'm very sorry if that's the case, um, it's useful information for future reference, for festival auditions, for live auditions, and honestly for professional auditions. Although professional auditions are looking for a very different standard than an undergrad audition would be. The first thing that I can tell you is that they're not looking for perfection. Professional auditions are a different story. They're looking for a very, very high level of playing and a very, like, skilled performance, which obviously you want to give as best you can with the other types of tapes that you're sending, but professional audition is just a much higher standard. But these tapes that you're sending to universities and you're sending to festivals, they're not looking for perfection because they know that you're a student. They know that you're learning. What they want is potential. They're listening to see if you're someone that they think they can teach and someone that they're willing to listen to more, because obviously with university auditions, you're going to have a live audition after your pre-screen. So what you're doing is sending them your best efforts, and they're going to see if they want to spend the time to listen to you again. And so you want to put your best foot forward, obviously. And in festival auditions, most of the time, the only chance you get to show yourself, to show them what you'd have, is in this tape. So you want to put your best foot forward, but if you have a really great take with like one note mistake, that's better than trying to re-record it a million times, never getting a good take, and sending something that's not as good as that take with one mistake in it. Because one of the first things they're looking for is musical knowledge. So, do you have an idea of the style? Do you have an idea of the context that this piece would be performed in? Are you using the right vibrato? Are you using the right dynamics? Are you following the music? Are you adding your own personal flair to it? They don't want to work with non-creative musicians. They don't want to work with you if you're a robot, because it's really frustrating when the person that you're working with can't express what you want them to. And obviously some of this stuff can be worked on, but there's some really intrinsic things that are very hard to learn. And most very good musicians have it naturally. You might have to develop it a little bit, you might have to pull it out of the person, but you can really hear when that person has an idea of the music, when they have a love for it, and when they have a passion for it, and when they try to express that. So you might not have the best technique in the world, but if you have musical knowledge and musical expression, they're going to be able to work that technique out. That being said, they're listening for rhythm. 100%, they are sitting there tapping their fingers in whatever tempo you set, and if you're off, chances are you're going to get thrown out. So rhythm and tempo are so important, and a consistent tempo where it needs to be consistent, obviously, and correct rhythms. There's nothing you can do about that. Like, if a player doesn't have an idea of tempo, it's so hard to teach that. You can, they don't want to put that effort in, because it's a lot of work, and it's really frustrating. So they'd rather have the person who has good rhythm and maybe not so great a tone, because you can fix that. So, rhythm. When you listen back to your takes, do the same thing. Tap into tempo, and if you're off, throw that take out. If you speed up, throw that take out. If you slow down, throw that take out. Like, you need consistent rhythm and tempo, and I cannot say that anymore. They're also listening for intonation, especially if you're playing with piano, or other instruments, whatever instruments you may be playing with. Obviously, you're gonna have some issues in that that's not always gonna be consistent, but decent intonation and just musical knowledge, and listening. If you're playing with another instrument, they want to hear that you can respond to that other instrument, that you can listen to that other instrument and play with them rather than just charging forward, because musicians are collaborative people. There are very, very, very few opportunities to play perfectly solo. Because even recitals involve a collaborative pianist or something else. Like a full solo recital, unless you're a piano player yourself, is very, very rare. So chances are you're going to have to work with multiple musicians every day, especially if you want to do orchestra, especially if you want to do chamber, or really anything. So an ability to work with another human to create music is very important. And that's one of the reasons why they tend to require piano in your pre-screenings, is that way they can hear you interact with another musician and see how you do that. And again, these are things that are very hard to teach. Obviously, it takes practice, and obviously you will learn more through the course of your degree, but they need to know that you have some knowledge to begin with, because if you have none, it's really hard. Really hard. And chances are people aren't going to want to work with you because you're a pain. And that's not good for them either, because then they have this student who's floating around who no one wants to work with, who has a bad reputation and is reflecting on them. So there's that. And all of these things seem very simple and seem very obvious, but it's something to keep in mind. It's always things that are about how you work as a musician and the basic skills that music students need to know and that teachers can't always give you. They know what they can teach. They can teach articulation. They can teach technique. They can teach interpretation to some extent as well. But you have to have those basic skills for them to be able to do anything. And if they can't hear that, then you're done. And yes, I'm telling you that if you have bad rhythm, it might be a sign that you're not cut out for this. That being said, if you really want to do this, then acknowledge that your rhythm is bad and find a way to fix it. Work with a metronome, do Dalcroze Eurythmics, or not Dalcroze, do Eurythmics. Dalcroze is for little kids. Do Eurythmics, do anything you can to get better with rhythm. Get one of the rhythmic books that music students use and do the clapping rhythms. Like, get used to rhythm. It takes a lot of work, and that's why they don't want to take students who have bad rhythm from the beginning, because chances are you're going to spend 3 years of your life trying to get better rhythm and not really develop everything else. And that's not really what music school is for. But if you really want to get to music school, then you need to build that, and so work on it. And if you don't want to take the time, then the honest truth is you're not going to make it. And I know that sucks, and I know it's really blunt, but it's true. So yeah, that was not the most uplifting of videos in the world, but sometimes you need to hear these things. I hope you guys have a very great week, and those of you who just sent in all your applications, I am thinking of you guys, and I hope you hear back soon, and for the better. As always, if you guys have video ideas, please let me know, and I will see you next week.